Hi, Warriors, 11 a.m. EST, here at TradeGate Hub. That must mean it's time for Mike and Dale to bat the financial ball around, see what's going on. How you, Mike? How you doing today?
Doing fine, Coach. Thanks for asking yourself. They're giving us the volatility we want, and we've been saying all week. Your plan has been spot on, usually is. I mean, and it is over time, and I'm basically trading it.
Okay. Pretty good gap down in Apple. I don't know if it's going to try and fill it again, but looks like the stock's damaged. I do want to talk about the S&Ps here. Are you getting a vibe today, Mike, by some of the action that's come in after the first 90 minutes of trading, that this might be ending the correction and we hold that 43.40 low? Like our guest said today, he thinks there might be a turn here today. The thing that would help, and it hasn't happened yet, is for the dollar to relent. And as you can see, it's starting to diverge up here. The silver squeeze people are not, there's no squeeze.
No, there
So
isn't. And they were looking for, there was, I really hyped that there could be one too. So the
there
longer it
will
takes for something, what's that?
there will be one, but not till we get down here. Like I said, this is my last go around for shorting precious metals, and I'm still looking for here in the silver, and gold has been holding up much better. Like I said yesterday, gold could handle a stronger dollar more than silver can. But even though gold's still up a little bit, I still think it looks vulnerable for a move down towards the 1800 level. Only other thing I'm going to cover is yields, because
Because
um,
that's what it's about. Everything's been
that's
driven by it.
yeah, and U.S. dollar yen is coming off pretty good. So I don't know. Maybe we have a failing rally here. I still have a hard time trying to top pick this, and um, still think TLT can wash out to new lows. So and just wrap up with what I was saying about S&Ps, is still my conviction that this was a failing rally up here, and that we're going to see at least a C wave back towards 4,200 before I consider that maybe that's where the bulls come back in to defend. So what do you see in here today, Mike? Any
I'm okay.
bottom fishing?
I'm not seeing any bottom fishing. Any bottom fishing is done with short dated calls. I'm talking about the latest being out uh Friday, this being Thursday. Obviously, you play the zero ones, but I'm not, Coach. I'm seeing people being patient. I'm seeing the rotation evident, but the problem is the rotation are dead cat bounces on the rotation. For example, a Johnson and Johnson, a Kellogg, a Campbell Soup. Those defensive stocks that have been imploding, literally,
Right.
have had a dead cat bounce. So they're up a little bit. The problem is as these 7 to 8 big leaders that held everything up, being Google, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and it's been highly documented, especially by yourself on TradeGATEHub, forever how long, about those mega caps. And what that being said is now we sit in a situation where the oils are starting to get a little heavy, still above their moving averages, if you will.
Okay.
There are
You can
stocks.
share your charts if you want. No,
Okay.
Mike. So people are, when they are coming in, they're buying defensive stocks right now. So
Right
there's
now,
yeah,
but
there's a
that's
little attitude change today after what happened yesterday.
some things are acting okay. I get Oracle. We've been saying to that's been the
It
one that
looks fine.
the new one. Adobe. We had the discussion about this yesterday, but when we look at the Google, for
I'd
example,
be careful with Adobe
we
and
said that
Google.
yesterday, and you're right. Amazon came off the 50-day now.
Yeah,
This
maybe
whole
it's going to
segue
make
when you
another run. Yeah.
this whole segue when you came in here, are they looking for short term? Listen, there are places to hide. The VIX is still not that elevated, making a move. It usually fades around 10, 30, 11. We'll see what happens today.
I'll tell you what, that Amazon chart you have up there,
Yeah.
under that blue moving average, today's low, look at the empty space between that and 110.
Coach, a lot of these stocks were like that. But you're having stocks that are still getting punished. This Path acted very well. But it's
Oh,
on
big
this
dip.
on the flip side, this other stock like Asan is acting poorly. You know what, Coach? There's always a place to hide. Now they're taking EDD, which was the strongest out there. Now there's a short report. I mean, stock from yesterday's high to today's low has already been trading what, $11 on heavy volume.
Was
So
that earnings? Because from yesterday's close, you never could have forecasted today's red candle.
no, that's correct. No, it wasn't Art. It was a short report. China's weak. How about this, Baba? Which was, these China stocks, one day up, what Baba looked good. Now it's break. Now it went, it's like
Yeah.
we were talking about. It's not, you can't, and I'm talking about Baba. I'm not talking about some, thin little floater, which doesn't really matter. But Baba looked like it was basing. You said it wasn't. Noted. We had a stock like Baidu that was actually hanging in there. Jack gave it all back. Yet now coming to the 200-day. A stock like AI that reported earnings that was once 48 a couple, artificial intelligence drove artificial intelligence. When came to the 200-day, does it mean that it's going to go back to 40? I'm not sure, but we're certainly trading it like it is. We bought a dead tick low, AI 25.50. Still have some. Well, yeah, I mean that's a 200-day. I didn't buy much. I mean, but maybe I bought a couple of thousand. I wouldn't get that aggressive, and the reason why I didn't get aggressive is because this is a time where if I am going to take a stab, it's going to be not on a daily. They're getting dangerous on the dailies. That's why I went to the weekly AI. So, for example, I either could have took a stab at the 200-day on the daily, 25 and a half. But if it broke that, which some of them are, then we're looking at what 24.50. 24. So if I'm wrong at 25.40, I'm not going to say I'm going to pick the exact bottom. I have, you always pick the exact bottom on light shares, but that could have given me another $1.50 pressure of downside. And by the way, if it broke that 200-day AI, for example, the market, there would be more going on in the market if AI and something broke the 200, they would bring it down another.
Okay, so so what we're looking at here is what really drove the action in June and July.
Yes,
was the AI hype, and now it's being challenged.
That was the handful of stocks, that 7 or 8, if you will, just like SMCI, which was the first one to break. Nevada is the last one to break. AI actually maybe, those were the ones. Then it was a Marvell that had a bad, this was a bad earnings, reclaimed the gap. But, aside from, these safe havens, which sans Apple, which is basically just to beat Google at this point, I believe. I don't, it's a very crowded trade on places to hide. MU is acting pretty well. The stock's acting well. I have this Twilo that I bought 2 days ago that I'm trading, still acting very well. It's actually on the high of the day. That's incredible. It's actually positive. So Twilo is acting well. It's stock picking, Coach. As fear and greed is neutral, as we pointed out yesterday.
Correct.
Put calls if someone. I mean, listen. For everybody to be bearish, the market hasn't really made that big of a move. The put calls are off the charts, Coach, short term.
They are?
Well, yes, they are. Here, let's give this here right here.
The put buying. You're saying the massive put buying.
Yes.
So they went from massive call buying last week to massive put buying. They were puking the puts last week.
Well, here's Helene. Yesterday's put call ratio is the highest since mid-August low. And it has been elevated. All right. So everybody's been expecting it. It's been listen, if everybody's been expecting it with a pullback, it's a little bit more dramatic than I thought. So, like I said, sans a couple of these strong stocks, I think there's a little bit more downside to be had. If the put calls have been elevated quite a bit in the last few weeks, then the market would have been,
should have already reacted to that.
That's what I'm saying.
Or it's going to become more extreme.
That's thank you for articulating it correctly.
Mike, I interview a lot of people and I ask about the market. And what I've been finding interesting is even the people who think that they're, it could come in a little bit, the market. I'm not even asking them. But they're always qualifying their statement. Yeah, I'm a bit negative, but there won't be a crash. I'm a little bit, a correction is healthy for the market. This is just a normal pullback. But I'm not looking for a crash. Everyone's going out of the way to make sure that no one thinks that they're really bearish.
Oh,
To which to me is
Coach,
bearish.
that's correct.
All right.
That's
I
correct.
mean,
That's what I was going to
okay.
say.
I mean, they're volunteering it. I'm not saying, are you looking for a crash? No, they just bring it up. I'm negative, but I'm not looking for a crash. Well, who even asked you if you were looking for a
Well,
crash?
why does it
So
have to
that's
be that?
top of mind.
Well, I agree with that, but why does it even have to be that extreme? First of all, if you're looking for a crash, I guarantee you're not going to be positioned for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just the way
It'll
it is.
happen overnight and you won't be there.
That's correct. It usually happens on some massive reversal. It's either going to be some massive reversal intraday, a black swan event overnight or overseas, and you're probably not going to catch it. So if you're looking for a crash, bravo. You know, I mean, you're never going to make the real meat of the money anyway, because, you know, if the first move down, you're probably going to take it off, and then the meat of the trade, it's just like trying to pick a top. So you want to pick a crash, that's fine. Things are neutral, put calls, there's not much going on. A lot of stocks are acting well, you know, since they, you know, rotation is still proper, but at lower they used to be tighter, but now they're expanded. Nevada's rotation was a lot higher. Kellogg's low is a lot you know, these I think that whatever the statistic is, the difference between the small caps and the Nasdaq is the biggest gap for, and it's evident here. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, the Russell looks ugly.
Here's another
Still.
chart. You can run into this one. I mean, this is, hold on, screen share.
Fly low. You got it.
This is a broken record. Intel.
Yeah.
I get it. I mean, Cisco, another one. All right. So now is Cisco now, okay, a move like that, is that a pullback to buy? It certainly looks okay. A pullback, if you can see on low volume. But you know what?
But you know, the high confirmed, the RSI almost confirmed up there. So
That's
that
what I
wouldn't
think
be,
as well.
yeah, you know, maybe it pulls back to 56, 54, you buy it.
Johnson & Johnson.
Another
I mean, I know, am I going to take a stab here? All these healthcare names. Am I going to, all these good ones too, like EW Scripps. I bet a DaVita, a DVA.
ugly.
You know, these BSX is actually hanging up very well. I like
Okay.
these kind of stocks. You know, how about an IONQ that's a double, you know, that pulled the double to IONQ, you know, whatever, 8 trading hours ago was 20. Now it's 16, coach. You know what I mean?
Yeah, these moves are, you know, I haven't seen, and this is with the low VIX, and you're
The
having
VIX is
these
what,
kind of
16?
ranges.
16? I'm hoping for 30. What happens
Yeah.
when the VIX comes 30? My God.
Yeah.
So anyway, they're rotating. How about the home builders of a week, a couple of days ago? They had huge volume. Now they could pull a binary move, and I hate using that word. They could break out of this triangle flag pattern, Lennar, right back up to 123, or some bad news that breaks that downtrend, and you're going to see 108. It's not. It's one of those are going to happen. This isn't a consolidation situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So we have either the correction's over or there's another leg. And,
yes, there is. This is not a consolidation, especially quote unquote this time of year. You know, blah blah blah. Stocks are reacting violently, up and down to earnings when they. You know, how about this one? How about this CH? I should give you one. They hurt me, but you know what? I was early and I couldn't believe CHPT. All right, this charge point. They do that. You know, you pull into the grocery stores. This is the people that takes the EVs. All right, Kramer's number one pick. If I had $1 for every time Jim Kramer liked this thing, we could both retire. All right. So I'm like, okay, I'm on this thing. I know that everybody's long because of Kramer, or maybe they're short it, but I don't really factor that in too much. Keeping in mind that people are long, it's breaking year low, margin calls are going to cascade. I get it. I was a little early. Now I'm buying this. My first trade on this thing's 572. Now, granted, it closed at 7. So I'm already buying it down 19%. Then I'm like, my first trade is 580. Then my last buy is 5, coach, 510. That's like another 10% down. Yeah. So now I'm averaging down. All right. There's my sale where it basically broke even, right? From averaging down precipitously, but stock has 4 bazillion shares. So, you know, I'm going to be wrong before I'm going to be right. Am I going to stick this thing in the fund long-term? No, but it's got price action range and volume. So then I sold a big chunk of it here to break even. Then it wasn't break. So then I bought it back a little bit. Then it's obviously had this gap, this pressure on the gap. I sold it here. Trade's over. but the stock went from $4.97, to $6, considering it came yesterday from 7. So it went from 7 to basically under 5 on huge volume news. And by the way, it does have a tendency of bottoming on news, by the way. That's why I did. Could have been a lot of things like that. But
what happened with that short from Tuesday? It's I forgot the name of the stock. It's where people go and rent places to stay on their vacations. What's the name of it?
Airbnb. I took that off at 139. Very good, coach. And that was added to the S&P 500. And that's actually acting very well.
Okay.
I took that off yesterday, 139. It did 139.
So you had a nice little break.
Well, it
$3.
It did. I think if it wasn't above the moving averages, because the rest of these, travel stocks are weak. You can even look at something like an MGM or Las Vegas Grand LVS.
That is ugly.
You can look at a UAL. I mean, you can look at, I think, a Marriott. So some of these are rolling over as Airbnb, considering it's the low season, crude's ripping. So if it wasn't for the fact that it was above the moving averages, it has these breakaway gap. You know what I mean? Trade's over for me. It's more macro about travel and crude prices, but it was hard money. But I did take the trade properly. It was added to the S&P, which is why I thought it might have been crowded. I mean, they have, what is this? You have plenty of time to add things into the S&P. So I thought it was a euphoric top, a play. I took it off. It was actually a decent trade considered. I probably would have been even in it now, but I would have been eating up my buying power on 2,800 shares of $141 stock that moves, $1 at a clip. And in this type of movement, as you can see, I don't really want to be tied up in this type of marginal trade. I took the move in it over,
Okay. The most important thing.
As I look at my screen here, here's the news. Here's my news screen, if you will. So Airbnb, I thought would break as cruise lines lower, RCL, CCL, and NCLH. Now, I know they don't go with cruise lines, but I think Airbnb is in the travel sector. So maybe I should have been taking the cruise lines lower. But the Airbnb trade, I traded because I had a volume, price action, and movement. That's what I do.
Okay. All right. So most important thing that your takeaway from this week, even though there's a day left.
My most important, look at these stocks hitting 52-week highs again. My important takeaway, here's the 52-week high list. A&F, American Eagle, Lilly, a couple of refiners and Schlumberger. Okay. Look at Lilly. It don't even matter. It's a 200. It goes with Weight Watchers. Look at Lilly. This is incredible, this stock. I love Lilly. I love trade. Here's a daily on Lilly. Here's a weekly on Lilly. Lilly, whatever. 2 years ago it was 81. Now it's 570.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm long this FRSH. I'm long this.
That's on the verge.
I just sold it. Look.
Oh, wow.
I'm long it. See this? Uh-oh. I got to hold on a second. I'm long this FRSH that does that news. I just sold it 2 seconds ago.
Nice.
Hold on, it just had news. I don't know. But here's the news. As it just came on, as it's going lower now, but it did sell a nice chunk at 2270. FRSH sees 2000 revenue growth up 20 to 22%. I'll give that a hands up. In the meantime, SPR breaks low, speaking at Jefferies conference. Now, I have to make this point, Coach, if we go over or not. Speaking at a Jefferies conference, FRSH, I like it. Now, one of the greater amenities at TradeGATEHub is, I want to take this FR because it's taking my, and by the way, here's the chart on FRSH. And I right here, just why I was long it. Why wouldn't I be? Is the long term on it.
Yeah.
Okay. See yesterday's volume?
Yeah.
It's a sexy, it's almost like that, and I took it. And I still have some of it, as I said, so I'm going to need a little bit more time. Although I don't like the fact the news that came out, it should be higher. I digress. What I said about this Jefferies conference, and please keep this in mind. Yeah, the beginning of the trading week, and you can get that by going on the YouTube channel or going through our videos and pausing it if you know what, it doesn't even go back that much. I wanted to point out that, hold on, TradeGATEHub, X, Home, is that part of this plan. SPR breaking low and speaking at the Jefferies conference was part of the plan, the weekly plan that I posted on Tuesday. of everybody who's speaking throughout the day. Obviously, I'm doing a video here, but on the list was SPR that was speaking at a conference. There are a lot of companies speaking at conferences, for example, FRSH. So I did post that, and what we're going to have to do is go back to the YouTube channel and look at what and look at the plan, freeze the channel or freeze the pause it, and then write down the what's happening day by day. Here's SPR. Everybody knows SPR is a Boeing situation. SPR breaking new lows, if you will. So that's at a conference. So I'll leave it at that, Coach. We're posting so much information on TradeGATEHub, always remembering quality over quantity, that today being Thursday.
Yeah.
I started posting Monday night and it didn't even go back that far. So you have to really get on the YouTube channel and post these. It's a treasure map. I post all it really is a treasure map: sentiment, option play, and I post everything that's conferences, speakers, and earnings through every day. So that's your map. I mean, if you're taking Apple into earnings, obviously, if you have Apple, you have to know when it comes into earnings. If you're a trader, you have to know who's speaking and why. And if you're not making any money in the short term or the long term and they're giving you chances to eat away at whatever might be eating at you. So there's always a trade, either whether it be a swing trade, a long term trade, or a day trade. So that's all. Coach, I know what you're going to ask. What do they do in option flow?
Go ahead.
The wise guys, just going to leave it at that because opinions don't matter.
My treasure map is a dollar.
Okay.
And so it's really a simple concept. When the dollar is bullish, most things sell off. When the dollar is bearish, you could buy the world. So if there's going to be a even short-term correction in the dollar, it'll give the market relief. But I'm not looking for the major high in the dollar just yet. We could have a pullback and still trade 108. So any pullback in the dollar, I think, is a break to buy for one more push up. I don't want the dollar trend, and you know how I like to fade things. I'm, actually trying.
No, you're not shy.
A little dollar short.
If it's moving in play, you'll do it. Right.
But there's not, I don't have a lot of conviction for trading the dollar counter trend. Anything I do, like today, is really light, very low leverage, marginal expectations, because I know it's still in a bull trend. So that's it. You gave your treasure map, I gave mine. Know what the dollar's doing, and you could get almost any other asset class or instrument right.
Zoom. Overall order flow a bit more of a bullish lean right now. Several names seeing light bounce. Nothing notable. A few names. Zoom, it should be. Pen, if you notice, I'm here not to pat anybody on the back, just so we don't waste time. Pen, I brought it up there 24 minutes ago. There's the pen squeeze activist again. I posted it from Jesus. Like I said, we post data, hard data that we pay a lot of money for or am privy to after 30 years of trading. So what I post are not opinions, you can ask, but I'm posting pen squeezers, right? Pen, Zoom, they're in Zoom. NTNX, okay? Here's NTNX. I got to make this point. There, I poached that. That was 26 minutes ago. Why not? I'm long NTNX in the fund. And I should be. Why not? Look at this thing. NTNX. Great stock. Just like this one. Just like Airbnb.
Yeah.
A, B, and B. Hold on. A, B, and B. Just like I don't even look at the other one. The fresh. How about Zoom taking a lot of calls? Zoom has been acting very well now.
Yeah.
Zoom almost looks like a BABA. It looks like it was staying above those moving averages and acting well. And it has been coming in with good volume, but Zoom looks good.
You know what the difference is? BABA has to deal with the Chinese government. And Zoom might be getting a bump because we're entering flu and RSV and new variations of COVID, and people might be, even though employers want people to come back to the office, we're entering a season where people are going to probably be doing more remote because of what's happening out there. All those little viruses floating around. out there this winter. So
Coach, it makes sense, and that's a great qualitative situation. But you know what? This is the bottom line, baby. Zoom, here's the action, price action and options. You
yeah.
can make all the sense you want.
Yeah.
And by the way, that is the real.
Well, I'm
That is
just
the
doing
reason.
what a reporter would do.
How about this though? Coke. What is that? 10,000 puts. Coke. Now look at Coke. I was saying at the beginning of the segment how these consumer staples are bouncing, but look at what is going on here. Look at the chart on Coca-Cola now.
Does not look good. It's a major breakdown.
Major, and look at the volume. The puts are flying. Let's go to the weekly. I'm not saying it's a barn burner, but I know you, Coach. You think it's going to 54.
Yeah, I guess there's that moving average. I could, if it gets to 54, 12, it's going to 42.
Okay, but whether or not you trade Coke or not, point being is that a situation like Coke is taking a lot of puts, maybe more emblematic of the rotation, the economy, inflation. I don't see Coke. This is a sexy feed. Coke doesn't come off that much unless it's an issue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So note that. What else do we have? MPC, they're going into refiners. The VIX is at a buy territory. Qualcomm puts, win calls, Apple win. GDX, Coach. Where do you like on the GDX here? GDX is taking what? Some
calls?
A little bit of calls, but it's got a little
How
room.
Far out? How far out?
November.
Okay.
AMD, we've been talking about it. Coach, that's your baby. What do you do here? Remember, we had that bounce. It gave it back again. 2 days, 24 hours ago, it was 112. Now it's 107. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What do? You step in front of it? No, you're probably going to make you're probably going to make more money after the break than anticipating either way. Risk the reward, no?
Yeah, it's compressing into that wedge. Option guys would do volatility spreads on something like that.
Here's put calls. Put calls. You're right, Coach. I don't want to make up. That was a good point. Put calls. They're medium. They were skewed to so now it's back to green. Now it's back to neutral. Stocks like Oracle are acting okay. Meta on my feed is obviously the stock of the day, acting the best. This is the one they're going to. So it's Meta today. Is the daily on Meta, and this is the one they're in. So for today, so it could very easily fail. That's the one that's acting well. Pins also acting very well with it, hanging in there a little bit. Pins is acting decently. So, and by the way, it had good volume, didn't give it all back. A lot of people are still underwater. Don't get me wrong, because this big green bar here was a huge overnight day that didn't work. So it has to wash out a little bit because some people are kind of stuck. So let that wash out, but that looks pretty good resuming as well. That's it. I don't know what, it's back to stock picking. Look, this is what I'm going to do after we end this video. Besides watch what you're doing. I'm going to go here. Boom. The percent losers in the last 15 minutes. There we are. Percent gainers the last 15 minutes. Percent gainers the last 60 minutes. Here are the gainers. So Lily's ripping as we brought it. SMCI is bouncing nicely. Tesla up bouncing in nice 60 minutes. Let's look at percentage losers in the last 60. What's going down? UVIX. So the VIX came down. So that, I could already tell you what's going on here. Let's look at if you're going to do anything, look at most actives. That's the most active board. That's my map. Okay. High, low, volume, and average 30-day volume. Range, if it has volume, and percentage means price action. That's it. If you're an empirical trader, you don't have to listen to us. That's the key.
Draw your own treasure map and see you in the room.
That's it. AMC. I'm in that. Okay.
All right, buddy. Another week in the books. Great collaborating with you.
You too, Coach, as always. Thanks for sharing. There's always something to do. The real way to handle TradeGATEHub is to watch go into the room and also watch the videos. Although I could dissertate pretty well, Coach is pretty macro as he's been really killing it and helping the room and as everybody else. But you know what I mean with these ranges that I point out with the volatility. Get to know what you do best, but I'm here to actually show you intraday. That's my greatest acumen. So right now, TGH is really running on all cylinders, and certainly we don't have any way of stopping. Most important thing is get yourself a TradeView demo. That's how to do it. Don't drown.
Okay, so just start off slow, low leverage. Don't go live right away, and give yourself 6 months and then go to micros, not even minis. So you know what it's like to have a little money on the on the line emotionally, but you can't blow up. So that's a wrap, everyone. Don't just count your dollars, count your blessings. Mike and I will see you next Tuesday. Adios.
Thanks, everybody. Cheers. Have a plan.